folks. Welcome to Nite Line. I'm your host, Dante Thompson. We got a great program lined up for you tonight. In fact, we got a lot going on here at Channel 16 and Nite Line and some of the other shows that we do here. Starting with a couple of Saturdays from now, of course, every first Saturday of the month, October 7th. Join us here from 10:30 to 2:30 for the monthly prayer vigil and just 4 hours of intercessory prayer. And of course, no cameras. You can wear your shorts and flip-flops if you want to. You don't have to dress up for that. But I want to encourage you to come on out to that and be a part. Also tonight, if you don't want to wait till October 7th, call in right now, 244-1616. We got live prayer partners standing by to take your call and to pray with you and believe with you that your needs are going to be met. Also, you can go to dubbroadcasting.com, put your prayer request on. You can submit it on there, and it comes straight to my inbox. I get those day and night, and utilize that. I want to encourage you to like us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how I watch us all the time. We're streaming live right now on Facebook and on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll get all the latest updates and anything that we post on YouTube. You get it first, which is exciting because tonight's going to be an awesome show. We got a lady named Aliz Koletas, and she's from Greece. She'll be joining us via Skype. Next week, I'm excited because my good friend, Pastor Asa Dockery, is going to be here. And then after that program, so what month is it? September 25th. After that program, I am leaving straight from there to go to Pigeon Forge to the National Quartet Convention. And I want to encourage you folks, to get up there and enjoy the music. And I know people enjoy Down Home Gospel. So over the next couple of weeks and months, be looking out for the special National Quartet Convention programs. But we got a lot going on tonight. Again, Aliz Koletas is on with us from an organization called Peace for Greece. She's going to be joining us via Skype, and it is gorgeous there. I can't wait to go to Greece. That's one place that's always been on my bucket list. And also the Lore family is singing with us tonight, and we always catch up with the Lore family up at the National Quartet Convention, so I'll see them again next week. But anyway, we're going to let the Lore family kick things off right now as they sing, "Oh, It Thrills Me."
I am serving Christ my Savior, the Holy One of Galilee. Joy I'll praise Him and tell the story of how He suffered for you and for me. Oh, it thrills me, and it fills me, this wondrous love of God, more precious than gold. Oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, He is always with me, and I can feel, oh yes, I can feel it down in my soul. It gives peace and consolation to know this friend is by my side. He'll guide my footsteps through the realms of glory, where I shall with Him forever abide. Oh, it thrills me, and it fills me, this wondrous love of God's more precious than gold. He is with me, and I can feel Him way down in my soul. Oh, it thrills me, fills me, yes, it fills me. Wondrous love of God, more precious than gold. Glory, hallelujah, He is always with me. Oh, yes, I can feel Him down in my soul. There's a light in the window, the table spread in splendor. Someone standing by the open door. I can see a crystal river, so I must be near forever. Lord, I've never been this homesick before. See the bright light shine, it's just about home time. Well, I can see my Father standing at the door. This world has been a wilderness. I'm ready for deliverance. Oh Lord, I've never been this homesick before. I can see the family gather, sweet faces, all familiar. No one's old and feeble anymore. Oh, this lonesome heart is crying. I think I'll spread my wings for flying. Lord, I've never been this homesick before. See the bright light shine, it's just about home time. Oh, well, I can see my Father standing at the door. This world's been a wilderness. I'm ready for deliverance. Oh Lord, I've never been this homesick before. Bright light shine, it's just about home time. Well, I can see my Father standing at the door. This world's been a wilderness. I'm ready for deliverance. Oh Lord, I've never been this homesick. I kinda got a homesick feeling. Lord, I've never been this homesick before. Lord, I've never been this homesick before.
Our first guest tonight joins us all the way from Greece. Thank you so much for Skyping with us, Aliz Koletas, all the way from Greece. And tell us where you're at in Greece. This is exciting.
I know, right? I love technology. So we're right now on Zakynthos, which is one of the many islands on the Ionian Sea. So to the west of Greece.
And you're on a little island right now. That is so cool. I wish I was on an island in Greece, but no, I'm in South Carolina. So but that's all right. I guess this is the next best place, I guess. But well, tell us, you're Greek American, but now you live in Greece and you have an organization called Peace for Greece, which we're going to get into. But how did you get involved with Greece, and how long have you been there?
Well, I'm a Greek American, so my parents are Greek.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
So I have come to Greece, obviously, before on vacation, visiting family and friends, but I've never actually lived here. Well, now I live here. So I guess you could say I'm an expat, even though I'm Greek American. So I'm much more familiar with the Greek culture and way of life than a typical foreigner moving to another country.
Yeah. Now, I've been all over Europe, but I've never been to Greece. How is the culture there in Greece compared to, Eastern Europe or Western Europe or anywhere else in Europe? Is it similar or is it different?
We're similar to, your typical Italians or Spanish. We're very family-centric. We have good food, a beautiful country, and we're very homogenous. Like the majority of people you find in Greece are Greek, just like the majority of people you're going to find in Spain are Spanish or, French or in France. So in that sense, we're similar. In the ways that we're different is that Greeks tend to be known as, Greece tends to be known as the birthplace of civilization and democracy and Greeks kind of jokingly or non-jokingly say, you know, we invented everything, we know everything, we are everything. So that is, I think, what sets us apart from everybody else, our history and our culture in that sense, and where we've come from thousands of years later, how we've evolved.
Yeah. I was asking you about the olive trees behind you, and I was asking you before the show started how old they are, and you said everything's 1,000 years old or more. Yeah, so that's funny.
Thousands of years old, thousands.
Thousands.
My husband, when he first came to America for the first time, he said, "So how old is America? Like a couple thousand years old?" You know, because Greeks in their mind think everything is thousands of years old, and I'm like, no, we're like 250 years old.
We're babies compared to that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Well, tell us about your husband, because this is interesting, how y'all met and the language barrier that y'all have. This is pretty interesting.
Yes. So I'm Greek American, but I'm not 100% fluent because I grew up in America. Everybody in America speaks English. And even though my parents are Greek, they didn't speak it to us growing up as much. They just spoke it to each other as a way for us not to know what they were talking about, which was very smart. But because of that, I was never 100% fluent. But my husband is a Greek native, and so he's 100% fluent and speaks barely any English.
Wow.
So it definitely has been the best Greek school lesson or training or teaching, schooling that you could ever imagine, marrying somebody that you have to learn how to speak the language or you don't know what each other is saying. You're like, I don't understand, and I guess the argument stops there because you don't know.
Was it hard to fall in love with somebody that you couldn't talk to? Or, I mean, how did that work?
Well, okay, I'm not the typical girl that believes in, you know, falling in love. I'm not that kind of person. I'm very logical. I'm very like, oh, you can't, you know, I've never believed in falling in love. I've always said, if you fall in love, like that's like walking down the street and falling and saying, oh, that was so much fun, I want to do it again. Like I've never believed in that stereotypical falling in love. I kind of was like, you can decide who you love. And obviously you have to be attracted to them and feel a connection and a spark. But I felt it was built on something much more logical or concrete than just like this crazy emotion called love. So I felt like you had to have a foundation, like a common shared beliefs or loves or just a common foundation. And we find that not just in our culture, but also in our faith. So to me, that is falling in love. I mean, I fell in love because I saw his picture. He had a bunch of muscles on a motorcycle, and I was like, oh, I'm in love. No. That to me, but really the reason, I mean, I knew we were going to get married is because of his love, not just of our Greek culture and heritage, but because of his love of people and love of God and love of his church. And I really, really love that about him.
We'll talk about Christianity in Greece. I mean, Americans, we have our sense of Christianity and how we believe in things. Is this Christianity widespread in Greece, or is it, you know, kind of a thing of the past, or how is it in Greece?
Okay, so Greeks are Christian in the sense of they believe in Christianity, they believe in Jesus Christ. So they're not Muslim or Jewish or atheist for the most part. They consider themselves Christian, but they rely on the church, the Greek Orthodox Church, and the priests and Mary and the saints to kind of form that bedrock of their religion. So it's not about having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. It's about, you know, going to church, or it's about what the priests say, or it's about believing in Mary, praying to Mary and praying to the saints. And it's more about the tradition than the personal relationship with Jesus Christ. So that it's great that they believe in Jesus Christ, but it's almost like they don't need to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ because, well, we're a Christian, we're the oldest religion in the world, so we're all good. So it's helping them or trying to help them understand about how important it is to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. That's
how do you begin to minister to somebody that's raised in the Greek Orthodox Church all their life and share your relationship with Christ? How do you begin to start a conversation like that?
It is very difficult because if you are not Orthodox, or if you try to show them anything else, it's very difficult because in their mind, you know, the Greek Orthodox religion is the oldest religion in the world, and they're Christians, they're all set, and they invented everything, democracy and civilization and written language. I mean, anything you can imagine. So they don't need you, meaning you or I, telling them what kind of a religion have or a relationship with Jesus Christ. They don't need that. They kind of have it all. So in that sense, it is very difficult. And most people think, oh, well, it must be difficult for missionaries or people to go to Africa or South America or Asia or some far off foreign lands. But honestly, it's much more difficult to come to Greece and tell Greeks about, you know, a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, because they're so shrouded in tradition, in what the culture has taught them, that it's very hard for them to kind of look outside or think outside that box.
I know I've been in a lot of Orthodox churches with, well, never Greek, but in like Bulgaria. I go to the Bulgarian Orthodox, Moldovan Orthodox, a lot of time in Eastern Europe. And it's more of a social type of thing, and kind of a, you know, it's not really going to church, you know, it's just something you do. And, you know, I think that has a lot to do with it, you know. But when you do reach somebody, tell us about how rewarding that's got to feel, you know, or be, when somebody actually gets it, you know.
Yeah, it's incredible because it changes their life. It changes their outlook. Like you were just mentioning earlier, a lot of it is just a cultural, it's a society, it's a kind of like, oh, I'm part of this club. It's like, yeah, I'm Greek Orthodox. It doesn't really have like a personal feeling or meaning to it. Like Jesus Christ is inside my heart. Like I have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. So when somebody realizes that Jesus died on the cross for them, or they can have that personal relationship with Jesus Christ, it does, I mean, obviously it changes their lives, but I think in a much more profound sense, because for the first time, it's no longer just, oh, this man Jesus that we hear about in church, if they even understand what happens in church, because a lot of the churches speak ancient Greek, so they don't even understand church. But when that person actually understands and comprehends what has happened to them and what Jesus has done for them, it really does, it changes their life, because for the first time ever, Jesus is actually real to them, not just like a man from thousands of years ago that died on the cross. Like it truly revolutionizes their life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, now you came from a journalism background. How does this tie into Peace for Greece?
Okay, and this kind of ties into how I met my husband, so it kind of like all works together. So yes, I come from a journalism background, and after doing some TV journalism for about 5 years, I moved to New York City because, one, I was really wanting to get more in touch with my Greek roots, and there's a lot of Greeks living in New York City, in Astoria specifically. And then also, I was leaving the TV journalism world behind me, and I started freelancing for a Greek newspaper in New York City.
Oh, wow.
So through that, because I love journalism, I still wanted to be involved in it, but was leaving TV journalism behind. So I started freelancing for this Greek newspaper, and I had the opportunity to go on an international correspondent assignment for the summer in Greece, to write about the Greek economic crisis, to write about the refugee crisis happening in Greece, to write about tourism. So not just harder, tougher subjects like Greek, economic crisis or the refugee crisis, but also the fun things like tourism and some fun stuff to do in the summer. And along the way, because I'm not Orthodox myself, I was visiting different Greek evangelical churches, Greek Baptist churches, camps, Christian gatherings, etc. And that's where I met my husband.
That's exciting. So there are. You mentioned Greek Baptist and Greek, talk to us about the church that you go to. How is it? Is it more American? Is it more traditional as far as we think of traditional, or what?
Okay, so there's not a lot of Greeks that aren't Greek Orthodox. I think the stat is somewhere around like 96% of Greeks are Orthodox.
Wow.
So there's a lot. And if you're not Orthodox, you tend to be either Protestant, charismatic, maybe Muslim, maybe Jewish. It's very, very few. I mean, it's very, or honestly, you're agnostic or atheist. You're just, if you're not Greek Orthodox, it's almost as if like you're not Greek. There's just like the Greeks don't even understand them. Like, what do you mean you're not Orthodox? Like, if you're Greek, you're Orthodox. It's very hard for them to not understand how someone can be Greek but not Orthodox. So the very few that are what we would consider Bible-believing Christians, you be like evangelical, which could be different denominations, or Baptist, which I'm Baptist because I grew up Baptist, going to an American church in America, obviously, but it was a Baptist church. So here in Greece, the few churches that aren't Orthodox tend to have more traditions of their denomination. So for instance, the church here on the island is Zakynthos Bible Baptist Church, and it's a Baptist church. And we've known the pastor, my family has known him for 10, 12, maybe even longer, 13 years.
Okay.
And I honestly, there's one other Baptist church in Athens. I literally cannot think of another Baptist church. So think 2, maybe 3. There was another Baptist church in Thessaloniki, but they didn't allow him to renew his visa. He had problems with his visa, so he had to leave the country. So really right now, I only know of 2 Baptist churches in the entire country of Greece.
Wow.
That's how difficult it is to be something other than Orthodox.
That's unreal. And when you go to your church, I mean, I would feel at home. I mean, it would be normal to me or feel normal to me then. So,
you would be much more, all right, so let's say you go to a Baptist church in America, you would probably be familiar with a lot of the songs, but obviously everything is in Greek.
Right.
Now, the church here in Zakynthos that we go to, they have an English service in the morning at 8:30.
Oh, okay.
Because of the fact that Zakynthos, which is the English name for the island, has a lot of English influences. There's a lot of foreigners that come from England. They come here on vacation. They retire here. So there's a lot more English influences than even the mainland of Greece. So most Greek churches don't have an English service, but the one here on the island does. And then they have 2 Greek services at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock that are 100% spoken in Greek. But if you're Baptist or you're familiar with, Baptist songs or hymns, even the traditional Christian hymns, you would hear that it would just be sung in a different language, but it would be very familiar to your ears.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's take a break for a song. When we come back, we're going to get more in depth about Peace for Greece. So
Okay.
we'll be right back. The Lohr family standing by to sing Mountain Testimony.
To a higher place, there's a voice that's calling me up this winding trail. There are mountains to scale which test my faith when I can't see. As I upward climb through the darkest of times, and I face the threats unknown, I will not retreat or surrender defeat. his hand still holding mine. There's a resting spot on the mountain top where the coolest water flows, a blessed tableland prepared by God's own hands, the sweetest fragrance ever known. I have reached the peak of Mount Testimony, where the view is bright and clear. Looking back for the cliffs of Mount Testimony, I'm amazed I'm standing here. But the Lord, my shepherd, led me safe through the valley, then gave me strength to climb. Now I stand on top of Mount Testimony, with his hand still holding mine. I have reached the peak of Mount Testimony.
Alrighty, thank you so much to the Lore family, and they're going to be doing some more music with us in this program, so you don't want to go anywhere. But we're going to continue our conversation with Aliz Koletas, all the way from Greece. Thank you again for being here. And of course, it makes it easy. You sit at home, just open a computer. You don't have to come all the way to South Carolina. But I'm wondering, why didn't I come to Greece to do this interview? I don't know.
You should have. You got to tell the producer, send me to Greece next time.
So, but you're with Peace for Greece, and let's start talking about Peace for Greece. Before the song, we had mentioned, the economic collapse, and of course Europe's been bad, but Greece has had it, really hard. The refugees, of course, we haven't, here in the States, we haven't heard a lot about Greece in the last couple of 6 months, maybe even a year now. What's going on? Is Greece getting better, or is there still things that the U.S. needs to do to help, or any, Christians need to do? What is the state of Greece right now?
Well, there's two different crises happening in Greece. You have the economic crisis, and then you have the refugee crisis, which is not at its height as it was a couple of years ago, where thousands of refugees were showing up, leaving their countries because of, war, famine, poverty, trying to make a better life for themselves. So you have two different crises happening in Greece, and that was the most frustrating part. Greece was going through an economic crisis and has been going through it the past 10 years. And then a couple of years ago, to get hit with the refugee crisis, it's almost like, how much more can it take? You know what I mean? The poor country has really just been getting hit on both sides from that. And it depends. I mean, sometimes you listen to the media and they blow things out of proportion, or they gloss over things like, oh, well, it's not that bad, they're surviving, or it's really, really bad, and you never know what to believe. But when you come here and you see firsthand and you hear the stories, or you see the people struggling, it can be very difficult, because, a lot of Greeks are struggling to make ends meet, and then at the same time, their country is struggling not just to provide for their own, but then also to provide for the refugees that are coming to their shores. So it can be frustrating, and I don't know that there's much more the U.S. can do, much more than what the European Union is or could be doing more for Greece. Prayers, of course, but beyond that, it can be difficult at times. I know one issue that Greece is having right now is the Turkish government, they're doing air violations. And so it would be nice if maybe the rest of the international community could step up and say, hey, Turkey, this is not right. And especially the U.S., it's a superpower in the world, could at least step up and kind of say, okay, we see what you're doing. It's not right. To at least kind of put them on alert, like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, we know what Greece is going through, the economic struggles are going through, the refugee struggles are going through, and then to have like a country kind of antagonizing them. So there's little things here and there that are happening. But the Christians in America, definitely, I would say prayer is the number one thing. And if you know any missionaries or churches in Greece, definitely support them.
Yeah. Well, that's what your organization does too. You can have people from the U.S. come over, and what do y'all do when you bring groups over?
Yes, so Peace for Greece, we're like a philanthropic travel group that coordinates missions trips for any Christians that are interested in either the U.S. or any other part of the world to come over and not just see a beautiful country and do a little sightseeing and get some R&R, but also to at the same time be involved in a local church and do some evangelism, do some mission work, and helping out as well. So I think people now are trying to do something to make the world around them a better place. I know the UN designated 2017 as the year of the sustainable tourism for development, for sustainable tourism. And part of what you can do is when you're going to another country, not just supporting the local businesses, but also bringing some type of spiritual help as well too, because you could give somebody some bread and a meal for the day, but if there's still that longing in their heart for something more, well, you've only helped them for a day. Why not try to help them for a lifetime?
Exactly.
So I think kind of doing both of those at the same time, I think is the best way, not just to enjoy a vacation and, you know, how much better of a vacation could you have than to help somebody else while also relaxing, but you're also helping and changing somebody else's life for the better.
Yeah. Well, I think that missions is on my heart, is on your heart, and but we all need to be missionaries if it's just in our backyard. But if somebody is interested in doing a mission trip, you know, what better place than somewhere beautiful like Greece, you know?
I know, and that's the thing. It's such a beautiful country. So it really, I mean, the story behind how even Peace for Greece came about was that, so I was on this assignment for the Greek newspaper, and I met my husband, and he wanted to stay in Greece to minister to the Greek people. And I had always, of course, being Greek American, thought maybe like, well, I could do that in New York City or reach the Greek Americans. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, I mean, Greece is struggling. I'm not saying that America doesn't have its problems. I know, I'm an American citizen. I know that. But Greece is really struggling. And so when I met my husband, and his one thing was like, I don't want to leave Greece. And I'm like, okay, so I'll move to Greece. But I thought to myself, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do this work, or, you know, so I'm working remotely on a laptop, you know, from the computer now. But at the same time, I realize there's more than just coming here on vacation or coming here for the summer. And there's nothing wrong with that. But also, if I could at the same time show Americans or people around the world what else they could be doing to help Greece, it's, I mean, you're fulfilling their spiritual needs, and you're also emotionally and physically, you know, revitalizing your energy by going on vacation, but also at the same time still helping a country that does need the help.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, I've been on mission trips to like Mexico and, you know, some places that's not too, you know, it makes it easier to go somewhere pretty, that's for sure.
It does.
Yeah.
And you know, but the funny thing is, because I've been on a missions trip to Haiti, and I'm not going to lie, sometimes you see some things in Greece, all right, come away from the beach, because everybody knows Greece is, you know, beach, Mykonos or Santorini, of course, and you think to yourself, okay, there's no economic crisis happening there, there's no refugee crisis happening there, but Greece is much more than just Santorini or Mykonos or a beautiful island. Even the island that I'm on here, Zakynthos, last week, a couple days ago, there was a boat of, I want to say around 60 people, at least a couple dozen people. They were refugees coming in, they were heading to Italy, but they kind of, the migrant smugglers kind of left them off in Zakynthos, and these people have nothing. I mean, they literally coming on a boat with just the clothes on their back. So there's migrants or refugees coming from everywhere. There's an economic crisis all over Greece. So I want to tell people, Greece is a beautiful country, but also don't think that, well, missionaries to Greece, like, yeah, right, you're going to lay on the beach all day long. Like, it's not just that. There is also the other side of Greece, which is people are struggling. You come into the mainland of Greece away from the tourist spots, and people are struggling. So it's good to know that there's people struggling in Greece, just like there are people struggling in Haiti or in Mexico or in other parts of the world. But
Right.
Greece just has it's the perfect opportunity, I think, for other people to come for a rest and relaxation and vacation, but also help out at the same time. It really has the best of both worlds.
Exactly. Well, now, what is the church, Orthodox or otherwise, doing to help the refugees there? Are they stepping up?
There's different organizations, not just through the churches here, but there's also NGOs, non-government organization. There's also charities that are here doing work on the islands and in the country that are stepping up and giving help and giving support. I think it's harder for a charity to reach all the way into their heart, because if they're just there to clothe them or give them food, but not reach their spiritual needs, how long will that last for? I think a person's heart needs to be touched before their life can be changed. And so it definitely is incredible, though, to be involved in churches or ministries that are not just giving support for their mouth, for their hunger, for their shelter, for their clothing, but also for their heart as well. So thankfully, there are different organizations, there are different there are different churches and ministries happening in Greece that are doing both.
Good. Well, they can go to the website, peaceforgreece.com, and they want to come to Greece. I looked it up. It's really affordable. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really affordable.
Because that's the point. I mean, the point isn't to, become a millionaire and just sit on a beach all day in Greece. The point is to make this as easily accessible to people as possible. I wanted to make not just the excitement of coming to Greece and also getting to see, where the Apostle Paul preached and walked, and ancient Corinth, which is my mom was born 15 minutes outside of ancient Corinth.
Wow.
So that's an incredible connection as well. But also not just coming for the vacation aspect of it, but also coming to minister to other people. And so that's why I'm trying to make it as affordable as possible. And also so people realize, this is something that I can do. It's not as, you know what I mean? It's much more, kind of brings it down to the level, I can do this. So I would love, whether it's just a family that wants to come and kind of have a family vacation and also do some mission work, or if it's a team at a church, a youth team, or a senior team, if they're older, whoever it is, as many people or as few people as want to come, I want to make it as affordable as possible for them to come and help my country.
Well, what's a typical week for somebody coming? I mean, what would they be involved in?
Well, it depends on when you were to come, because different churches have different events going on. So whether you were to come when a church is hosting a camp or having special evangelism meetings going on or outreach ministries going on, or if you want to come at a time more convenient to you because you can choose when you'd like to come, there's always work around to be done, whether it's as simple as helping to clean up and doing upkeep on different ministries or homes around here, or if it's doing evangelism work. There's people all around the island that always can use the gospel or the love of Jesus Christ, or to hear some singing or preaching. You know what I mean? There's always work to be done. So it can range the gamut from if you come on a pre-designated time when there will be outreach events going on, or if you want to come on your own, and we can customize and tailor a schedule for you. Maybe one day doing sightseeing, but then the next day doing evangelism, the next day doing outreach ministries to the gypsies or to the refugees or to people who need it. So it's very customizable, because our country, Greece, is full of people that are waiting for people to touch their hearts and to touch their lives. So it can be as structured or as unstructured as the group or the family or the people need it. That's the awesome part. It's almost like you don't need to look too far to see somebody who's struggling, or somebody who needs a kind word, or somebody who needs encouragement or a blessing. They're all around us.
When's the best time? Is is it hot there now? Does it get cold in the winters where you're at?
Yes.
When's the best time to come?
A little bit. I don't know if you can see, I'm sweating a little bit. So hot, but you know what? I can't complain. I love it. So the summer is the hottest time, maybe even too hot for some people to come, and where it's uncomfortably hot. It's also probably the most expensive time to come to Greece, because that's when all the tourists come in the summer. So you could come in the summer if you wanted to, or in the off-peak season, it's very affordable to come to Greece. The last 3 or 4 times that I've flown round trip from Greece to the States, my tickets have been like $500 round trip tickets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's very affordable in the off-peak season, and it's much warmer. So it all depends on whenever the team or the family or the group, whenever you want to come, basically, you can come to Greece. Whether it's during the winter, although I say that in quotation marks because I'm from New York, and our winters in New York get like a foot or 2 of snow. Like down south, you don't get that much snow. Upstate or northeast, you do get a lot of snow. So compared to that, to Greece's winters, it's nothing compared to that. So it's all up to your choice. It's very flexible, and that's why we wanted everybody to feel like it could happen to them. Like, if you think it's out of like this world that you could go to Greece on a missions trip, or it would be too expensive, or it just wouldn't be feasible, no, get that out of your mind. It's doable. It's feasible. It can happen. And that's our mission, to make other people have the opportunity, to let other people have the opportunity to come and minister to others.
And you never know. If you're watching tonight and you want to go to Greece, you might stay like Aliz did. You might just move there. So.
Yeah. You know, like if you're not married or something, you could find like a really good Christian believer here as well. Or honestly, yeah, you could just fall in love with the country and say, you know what? This is where God is calling me. And hey, we need as many people to come and help us as possible. So let me know. It's definitely an opportunity, and it's a much slower way of life. So it's much more relaxing. It's totally different than when I was like living and working in New York City. It's like a completely different way of life, a different pace of life. And I'm still getting used to it because I'm like, I'm not running crazy, working 15 hours a day, but I'm like, all right, I think I can get used to this. So it definitely is a different way of life.
That's fun. Well, let's take a break for a song, and then when we come back, we're going to wrap up with Liz. Right now, the Lord family stand by to sing The Joyous News.
Testimony of a sinner saved by grace. My soul plunged in the crimson stream, and my sins were washed away. Sometimes I shout when I think about the moment I break through. That's why I get so happy when I hear the joyous news. Oh, I love to hear the joyous news. A sinner has been saved. Strike up the band, let's clap our hands. It's time to celebrate. A soul set free should be the theme of the headlines every day. Oh, I love to hear the joyous news. A sinner has been saved. I am rejoicing on this journey. There's a new song that I sing. Christ gave to me the melody, in my heart the joy bells ring. My steps are light and the days are bright, since my burdens rolled away. That's why I get so happy when I hear a soul say, oh, I love to hear the joyous news. A sinner has been saved. Strike up the band, let's clap our hands. It's time to celebrate. A soul set free should be the theme of the headlines every day. Oh, I love to hear the joyous news. A sinner has been saved. Oh, there's a new name written down in glory, and it's mine. Oh, yes, it's mine. And the white-robed angels sing the story. A sinner
love to hear the joyous news.
All righty, thank you so much to the Lore family. We're going to wrap up this hour finishing our conversation with Aliz Koletas, all the way from Greece. And again, you're with peaceforgreece.com, newer organization bringing over missionaries from the U.S. or anywhere really, but you're from the U.S. To Greece. And I've never been to Greece. I want to go. I can see behind you, it looks gorgeous there. Man, in fact, I might just get on a plane right now and head on over. But all the places in Greece, it's got to be gorgeous. Well, what's your favorite place to go? Is it some of the steps that Paul would have walked, or is it just right there at home, or what?
That is so difficult to answer because there's different islands, you have everything from a beautiful beach to you could see ancient civilization. You could see Mars Hill by the Acropolis where Paul preached, ancient Corinth, where my mom was born, about 15 minutes outside of it. I mean, you could go up into the mountains, you can go to the beach, you can go anywhere in between. It's so difficult. I mean, literally, you can every day you could go somewhere different and see something. I don't even know where my favorite. I mean, I guess I love the island here because we're really involved with the Baptist church here, and I love how involved they are in trying to reach people and minister and evangelize. So that is something that's so important to me. So I love being here with them. But then I also love, because there is still so much of Greece I haven't seen, going on vacation and seeing different islands or going to different places, and because each island is different. So I've only been to about 22 islands so far, and I still have about like 1,000, I think, left to go because there's a lot of islands here in Greece. But it really is so great. And you know what I love? Peace for Greece is not just for missionaries. It's for anybody that has a mission heart or a mission mind, whether it's teenagers or families or singles or senior citizens. It doesn't matter. If you want to minister to people and still at the same time see God's beautiful creation and this beautiful country that, the Apostle Paul walked on, and see where he preached and where he taught, it really is it's a really great country to not just see things from the past and the history from the past, but also help be a part of the future and help change people's lives here. Not just the Greeks, but also the refugees, the migrants, the people who are here trying to get a better life for themselves as they come into Greece.
It's easy here in the States when we hear about, like we talked about the economical situation in Greece or the immigrants coming into Greece. It's easy for us to see that on the news and think, oh, how bad, and then you don't see it on the news, and then you totally forget about it. Like it's almost over. Like there's no problems anymore because we don't hear about it on the nightly news. That's not the case, though, is it? It continues going on.
It's not. It does. And some people either think, oh, Greece, everybody goes there on vacation, they have beautiful beaches, and then that's all. So they have one picture of Greece. Other people watch the news and they see the refugees or the migrants coming on shore, and they're like, oh my goodness, like what's happening with Greece? It's getting run over. But that's not the whole entire picture as well. So people need a truly balanced picture of Greece. Yes, we have beautiful beaches, we have beautiful countryside, but we also have a refugee and a migrant problem. And we also have an economic crisis happening as well, where the people in the mainland, the Greeks, are really struggling to make ends meet. And so other people outside, so whether that's in the US or across the world, in England or in other parts of Europe, can come here and not just help support the Greek economy by spending their money at the restaurants or at the family-run businesses. So you're helping the Greek economy. You can also do some mission or evangelism work with local churches like our church here. And so you can help the spiritual you can help in a spiritual manner as well, but then also at the same time, you get to come for vacation, you get to relax, and you kind of get to enjoy some downtime with your family or with your church group or with your team as well. So it's almost like it's like vacation, but mission work and church work at the same time, all combined. It's like three things combined into one. Yeah. And I think that's an incredible opportunity that no other country in the world can offer
And the food, folks, I'm telling you. I of course, I've never been to Greece, but I love Greek food. And of course, you don't get my size by being a picky eater. So,
I'm telling you right now, you are going to love Greek food, and especially like you think you've had good Greek food in America.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, you have not had good Greek food until you come to Greece and you have it here in Greece.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts about traveling is experiencing the different cultures and the different cuisines.
Yes.
Nothing more fun than that to me, and being a blessing to other people and seeing people get saved. I mean, it's just that's an awesome thing. I mean, it's just a fun thing, and if you are interested, again, peaceforgreece.com. And give people, is there a phone number, or is it email, or what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Absolutely. Probably the easiest way is go onto the website, peaceforgreece.com. Read about it. It's very customizable. So whether we don't have like you have to do this or you have to do it at this time or this date, it's whenever you and your team or your family, whoever wants to come, whenever you want to come, you let us know and you tell us what you want to do. Do you want to go on a biblical tour? Do you want to do just mission evangelism work? Do you want to just come for a vacation, then maybe do like a Bible study for an hour every morning with your team? Basically, you tell us what you want to do, how involved you want to be, how you want the vacation to go, your time to be here, and we can make it happen. I have many contacts, many sources all over the country, different Christian organizations, different churches, different people that you would be a blessing to by partaking of their services or by coming and helping us reach not just Greeks, but other people coming to Greece with the gospel. So it's very easy. Go to our website, peaceforgreece.com, read about it, then just send us an email, info@peaceforgreece.com, or you can give my cell phone a call. I still have my American cell phone number, even in Greece, so you can call that as well, 518-860-2509. So whichever is easier for your viewers.
Excellent. Well, Aliz Koletas, I want to thank you so much for joining us via Skype from your wonderful view there in Greece. And thank you so much. And hopefully next time we speak, I'll be in Greece. That'd be awesome.
That is exactly right. We've got a bedroom waiting for you. Come on, let's go.
Awesome. But we're going to close this hour with the Lore family. They're going to be singing another song. And join us after the break because we'll be right back for another half hour Nite Line. We'll see you in just a bit.
Before man ever sinned in the garden, God had a plan to redeem him. His only son would die once for all. By grace man could rise above his fall. You can trace the grace from heaven to a hillside where the innocent was crucified and the guilty set free. But you won't find a sign of the sin that had condemned us. No reminders thanks to Jesus, they've all been erased. Always trace the grace. Grace paves the way out of our past and covers with love the shameful tracks. God's forgotten the sin we can't forget. Forgiven everything we still regret. You can trace the grace from heaven to a hillside where the innocent was crucified and the guilty set free. But you won't find a sign of the sin that had condemned us. No reminders thanks to Jesus, they've all been erased. But you can always trace the grace from heaven Jerusalem, from Gethsemane to Calvary, from the cross to the lost. You can trace the graves from heaven to a hillside, where the innocent was crucified and the guilty set free. But you won't find a sign of the sin that had condemned us. No reminders, thanks to Jesus, they've all been erased. But you can always trace the grace. No reminders, thanks to Jesus, they've all been erased.